Hi, everyone. Welcome. Our presentation today is going to be on Gilman Scholarship. And these are scholarships that can be used for studying or interning abroad. And today, I have with me Alexa and Chanel. They are UCLA students who received the Gilman Scholarship this last cycle. And they will be sharing what is the Gilman Scholarship and their own personal experience with the application process. And they will give tips as well on how you go through the application process. And my name is Will Cilier. I work at the International Education Office, which is the UCLA Study Abroad office. And with that, I will pass it to you, Alexa.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Alexa Cisney. I transferred to UCLA last year from Santa Barbara City College, and I'm a senior in the International Studies department where I'm finishing my bachelor's and minoring in labor studies. With the Gilman Scholarship, I was able
Alexa, just a second. Can you make the presentation bigger?
Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Thank you. Little technical difficulties here.
Okay.
All right. How's that? Alrighty. I will continue. So with the Gilman Scholarship, I was able to study abroad at the Free University Amsterdam, where I took classes in international criminal justice and terrorism. Thanks to the scholarship program, I was able to have invaluable experience collaborating with students and professionals at the international level, while gaining a broader understanding of my major and field of study. Most importantly, I was able to fulfill a lifelong dream of studying abroad. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so for the contents of this presentation, I'll just be giving a brief overview of what the Gilman Scholarship is, what it can be used for, students' eligibility status, and some tips to keep in mind. So why Gilman and what is it? So the Gilman Scholarship is a cultural exchange program that enables American students to gain proficiency in diverse languages and cultures and develop skills that are critically important to their academic and career development goals. The mission of the Gilman Scholarship, I'll just kind of briefly go over it, is to broaden and develop the skills, perceptions, viewpoints, and careers of the next generation of American leaders to build mutual understanding between the United States and other countries. And they do this by expanding the US student population that studies and interns abroad at the undergraduate level and help students to gain professional skills such as language abilities and knowledge of the world that is needed for successful careers. It is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of International and Cultural Affairs and awards students up to $5,000 to pursue their study abroad dreams. So let's talk about eligibility. Most importantly, your program has to be a credit-bearing program. So I would recommend keeping in touch with the registrar's office. I believe it's the CAC department here on campus to ensure that your credits transfer to your university. You must be a Pell Grant, a federal Pell Grant recipient during the time of your application, or be able to provide proof that you will be receiving the federal Pell Grant during the time of your study abroad program. You have to be a US citizen, so unfortunately DACA students and international students don't apply. And finally, the country that your program is in has to be at a level 1 or 2 travel advisory according to the US Department of State. It's, for student safety and whatnot. And kind of a funny aside, when I was applying to my program, the Netherlands was ranked at level 3, almost 4 at the time I was applying, but luckily it came down, so I was able to go. All right, what can the Gilman Scholarship be used for? Pretty much anything. It's very flexible, it's amazing. So it can be used for any program or term. That means the fall term, spring, summer, etc., can be used for that. It can be used to pay for program expenses such as tuition, room and board, and supplies. It can be used to cover visa requirements, and I also recommend checking in with the U.S. Department of State for visa requirements. Very important. It can be very stressful, so please get that done as soon as possible. The Gilman Scholarship can also be used for transport fees such as airfare and to pay tuition for your study abroad or intern abroad programs. And here I have a note. So the Gilman also will cover virtual program fees, except I don't know if they're still going to be continuing that process in light of the fact that the pandemic is pretty much over. But I would definitely reach out just to cover if you are interested. So our next presenter will be covering the application process in a little bit more detail. It is quite straightforward, and there are many resources online to help you out. But yeah, you write a couple essays, you submit your transcripts, input the program information, and contact the study abroad program advisor and your financial aid advisor. You submit their information, and then you submit your application, and you have to wait a little bit, and pretty much good to go. I do recommend contacting your advisors well in advance. It's just a lot easier and kind of streamlines the process of applying. And one thing to note here as well is that you can apply any number of times to the Gilman Scholarship, but you can only accept the funds once. All right, let's talk about some alumni benefits, basically what the scholarship can do for you beyond helping you pay for your program. So this is awesome. They have a wonderful, just a fantastic networking community where you can get in touch with people for possible mentorships or job opportunities. They have a great newsletter that gives you all sorts of information. What I'm most excited about is the NCE status. That's a non-competitive eligibility status up to 12 months at the time of your program's end. And that basically just kind of helps you jump through the extra hoops when applying to a job within the federal government. It's another kind of streamlined benefit that you get, which I think is fantastic. And if you want to find out any more information, just go online and search Gilman NCE status. They have a beautiful, beautiful little pamphlet for you. And then a final note for alumni benefits, they give you great grad school opportunities. So they kind of hook you up with the Wrangell and Pickering fellowships, which are just fantastic. And are basically like a direct way to get into the foreign service if that's what you're interested in. Alrighty, some important things to remember. Please check your emails. Don't let important emails get lost to the spam folder. Yeah, just make sure you check those. Check your eligibility status. Keep to the deadlines. Those are hard deadlines and not flexible. You will not get in if you don't apply on time. I also recommend, as I said before, contacting your advisors well in advance so that they are prepared to assist you through your application process. Triple check your documents and the application checklist listed on the Gilman website. Just very important and really kind of helps keep your mind straight. And please get your visa and your passport done well in advance. I cannot stress how much it will save you so much time and energy just having that done and ready to go. And also don't be afraid to reach out to Gilman for assistance. There's so many resources online, like YouTube, their website, etc. Also the Study Abroad office, and any of us here today are more than welcome to help. All right, thank you so much for listening. And I cannot stress how amazing the Gilman Scholarship is, how much it has done for me. And I'm so excited to see some of you guys in the future on the Gilman Network.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alexa. I'll go ahead and take it over from here. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me get this a little bit bigger for everyone. Present. All right. So hello, my name is Chanel. I will be talking about the more of like the actual writing process and of the Gilman Scholarship. So today I will be I'll give you a little introduction about myself, then go over like actual writing the different application components, then I'll give you some like last minute like tips and tricks, and then end off with like a little end note on my study abroad experience as a Gilman scholar. So like I said, my name is Chanel. I am a transfer student from San Diego, California, studying sociology. And over the summer, I was lucky enough to study at Cambridge University. It was an incredible experience. I not only got to take like sociology coursework, but I was able to conduct my own independent research project and worked one-on-one with a, when I was working with her, she just finished her PhD, but got to work with someone within the grad school department, which was amazing because it made me fall in love with Cambridge a little bit more. And I am currently in the process of applying to grad school and national scholarships to study in the UK. So got a lot of experience writing applications and whatnot. So let me go ahead and walk you through Gilman. So the Gilman has three separate essay components. They do a statement of purpose, a building mutual understanding essay prompt, and then a follow-on service prompt, or proposal, which is what Alexa and I are fulfilling today. So for now, I'll just be going over some like basic kind of like writing advice, things that I typically do when I'm approaching these applications. So first to start off with is the statement of purpose. And now the Gilman provides you so much information on how to actually like approach it and what they're looking for in a candidate. So I highly, highly recommend reading the selection criteria. If you just go onto their website and they have a tab for applicants, and then I believe they have like a whole essays tab. Each one of the essays has a whole PDF on what they're looking for, what questions you should be asking yourself while writing through going through the application and whatnot. And as always, please brainstorm, brain dump everything onto a piece of paper. You don't know whether you're going to use it or not, but getting it onto a piece of paper will help you think through the strategy behind the application, which is very important when committees are looking at these applications. They want to see that throughout the entirety of your application, that the reason why you're studying abroad at this specific university is important to you and your development as a person and your studies or whatever you want to pursue in the future. And then next thing I always urge people to do is write a detailed outline. I like to think of it as like a first draft without like the formalities of an actual essay. So sometimes like my bullet points are full on sentences and like little rants. Sometimes they're like two words just to kind of get the idea down, but try to be as detailed as you possibly can. And I say all of this because as you're writing the statement of purpose, at least I realize that 7,000 characters is a lot of space to talk about you and your studies and why you're pursuing what you're pursuing. And so like use this space to tell your story. The Gilman wants to know who you are. They want to know who their potential ambassadors are for the Gilman Scholarship and essentially the US State Department. So to use the space to tell your story and why the reason you're choosing this academic path is important to you. So for me, I was really passionate about my research. I currently do research in women's health and medical sociological research in women's health. And I really wanted to pursue that and see how I would conduct that research under the Cambridge setting, knowing that I would inevitably go to grad school, hopefully will attend grad school in the UK. And so again, once you kind of lay out your story and your reasons why you're pursuing this path of study, talk about your anticipated experiences within the program, talk about the coursework you're going to be doing, or the actual like work in the internship that you're potentially doing, or even the research that you get to be doing. They want to see that not only did you just pick this program, but the reasons why you picked this program is critical to you as a person and as a critical to you as a person and to your long-term goals. So for me, I talked about like the classes I will be taking, and then again, the research that I was doing and the experiences I would be gaining from that. And then as you're moving on to this essay, again, you want to tell a story about like why this matters to you. So relate it to your long-term goals of whatever that could be. So again, mine was to go to grad school in the UK, and then take that and eventually relate it to why this long-term goal, this achievement of whether it's going to the grad school or being a lawyer or whatever it is you want to be, is critical and very beneficial to your overall societal impact. And this takes a lot of reflection of like what you want to do and why this is important to you. It's not necessarily something very easy you come to. For some people it is, some other people may have to reflect a little bit longer. But if you're able to tell the story, it shows to the Gilman Committee that you are strategic with what you want to do, and that this isn't just some random thing that you decided that you wanted to do last minute. It's been something that you've been looking forward to for a while. And that and then last but not least, please edit and proofread. I don't know how many times I've submitted final essays or applications, and then I look over and I have a typo. It happens to the best of us, but again, it doesn't hurt to edit and proofread as much as you possibly can. And so the next essay that I will be talking about is the building mutual understanding. And so when I was going through the Gilman application process, it was a little bit hard to figure out how I wanted to position this essay for me. Though my research is very beneficial to reproductive health and understanding the systems that are at work, I couldn't really explain the international aspect of like the relations between the US and then whatever place you will be studying at. So in my case would be the UK. So it took me a little bit of research and reflection and talking to like people who kind of knew more about me. But you really want to focus on the clarity. Make sure that your understanding of the international relations between the US and whatever place you're studying at is clear. The Gilman wants to know that you at least like are aware of this international status between the two places. Again, don't be afraid to do your research. If you're unclear about things, go off to the internet or whatever source you feel is viable, and start from there. You never know how you can approach this essay. And then last but not least, make it personal. Make this essay show why it matters to you. Even if it's just something that you came across, it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't matter to you. So like they want to look at, and this is, sorry, let me start over. And this is so that you can show your ambassador potential. So while you're a Gilman Scholar, you're not only just a representative of whatever institution you're representing, and right now we're just limiting it to UCLA students, but you're also a representative of the US State Department as well as the Gilman. So they want to ensure that the people that they're giving the scholarship to will reflect the US and the overall mutual understanding as best as it could be. The next essay that I will be talking to you guys about is the follow-on service project. So this is basically how are you gonna essentially make other Pell Grant recipients aware of this opportunity. A lot of us, especially like for me, for example, I put myself through school. I don't have my parents' support. So using these scholarships and these resources was detrimental for me to be able to study abroad. And so not only do you want to lay out the outline of your project, again, this doesn't have to be something very detail. I mean, it does have to be detailed, but it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as doing a presentation about the Gilman and what the mission is of the Gilman Scholarship and whatnot. or you can go do a blog post, or I've heard some people did YouTube videos. It's whatever is feasible to you, so long that you are able to reach out to other Pell Grant recipients or other Gilman eligible applicants. With that, again, note your intended audience. So if you know you're going to be doing a presentation like the one Alexa and I are doing today, write it in the essay. Let them know that you're going to be reaching out to other UCLA students who may be in the same position that you are, looking to study abroad and finding those opportunities to actually finance that. And lastly, like within this essay that I did for myself, for my application, I also wanted to showcase how would these experiences help inspire other people to achieve their study abroad dreams. And so this is not only supposed to show that like you have a plan to, when you come back, to let others know about the Gilman Scholarship, but also to use your story as an inspiration to get others excited about their application, or even just going to be able to study abroad. And so once you have finished all three of those essays, there are some minor little things that I would love to some little tips that I wish someone told me, or that I even utilize while going about the application. So for me, I utilized the study abroad office. I reached out to Wilsie and I was able to talk to her about not only just the actual application itself, but potentially flesh out ideas of doing my follow-on service project. So they're a great resource, and they are here to help in any way possible. Keep in mind in deadlines. Not gonna lie, I wasn't the greatest with this, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. However, put it in your calendar, set a couple weeks reminders. Try to be as proactive as possible. I know with the quarter system, it gets really hectic really fast. So if you have utilized those planning strategies that I'm sure you all have, and try to be as proactive as possible. And then once you hit submit, try not to fixate on it. Yes, it is a wonderful opportunity, but sometimes things don't happen your way. But regardless, like, take comfort in the fact that you put out your best potential application to the Gilman as possible, and hopefully everything will work out. And don't try to add unnecessary stress to it. It will be okay. You'll be able to pursue the dreams that you are supposed to pursue. And yeah, and so ending on that, I just wanted to thank Gilman and Wilsie and everyone for like helping me get to this process. If I wasn't able to find ways to financially support my study abroad adventure, I would have never had all of these experiences and memories, whether it was traveling through Paris and Amsterdam or doing an all-nighter at the Cambridge Library because I forgot that I had an exam due. It's fine. We're all fine. But you know what? It's an experience that if you guys get the opportunity to that will just be invaluable to you as a person or a academic scholar or whatever you want to pursue. So again, if you ever have any other questions on how to approach writing the essays or even just the application in general, feel free to email me and I'll be glad to help you out.
Great. Thanks, Alexa and Chanel, for sharing your experience with the Gilman Scholarship. And before we open up for questions, I just want to share two other opportunities that are connected to Gilman, which is the Gilman McCain and CNLA. So what is the Gilman McCain? It's basically the same Gilman Scholarship, but this one is specific for a child or a spouse dependent on an active duty military, like a service member. So if you are a child of a military, an active duty, then you can apply for the Gilman McCain, and instead of being up to $5,000. The award is $5,000. So once you complete the application, if you receive the award, it's $5,000. And the eligibility is basically the same as Gilman, but instead of the Pell Grant, you need to be a recipient of Title IV federal financial aid. And the other opportunity is the Critical Need Language Award. So if you decide to go abroad to learn one of these selected languages, on top of the Gilman, you can also earn an additional $3,000. So let's suppose you get $4,000 with the Gilman and you apply for CNLA, you get an additional $3,000. So these are languages that the United States has special interest for because they are connected to national security. So these are critical languages for the US to motivate students to learn. And it's also a great benefit because you have an additional $3,000 that you can get for your study abroad. And now I would like to open for questions. If anyone has questions, you can either type on the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask.
Question?
Yes.
For the Gilman McCain Scholarship, is it only for dependents? I'm a veteran, so I was just curious if there's.
Yeah, I believe it's only for dependents, and it has to be on active duty. Like the person has to be on active duty, and then the child or the spouse who would be the dependents, they would be eligible for this scholarship.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then, last question. Thank you. For the last scholarship that you mentioned, what proficiency level is needed for either of the languages?
I don't believe there is any need of proficiency. So you can just apply if you are learning. You can go on any program as long as your focus will be one of those languages. I don't believe that they have a specific level of proficiency for those.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? And again, if you have questions later, you're welcome to reach out to us. You can reach out to Alexa or Chanel, or you can just send an email to info@io.ucla.edu, and anything scholarship related gets forwarded to me. So I'll be answering those questions as well. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, I want to thank you for attending. This presentation will be posted on the GLOW website. So thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.